I just wanted to say, first of all, give me 1 second. Let me go into here to this setting here. I didn't even think of this, and then we can get right into it. And do what we do here. Keep it 100, and just remember that people are a disappointment, and when someone deliberately tries to hurt you, don't stick around. It's just don't. Run for the hills. No, really, because that means they are willing to hurt you. So why? Would that to me registers? I'm supposed to feel safe with somebody or somebody I care for, a friend or lover or whatever. And if you're willing to deliberately hurt my feelings, then you don't care for me. So therefore, that says to me to understand that that's what a person is showing you is what they show you. Pay attention to the actions. If it ain't right, it ain't right, and you have to accept it. If it do you keep no, you don't. You do better for yourself, but you know you don't hurt people that you care about. You don't deliberately, consciously. You know, actions speak louder than words, and if you don't know that, you got to be really special because your words have no value with no action behind it. Thank you. So let me just finish this up here, and then because I can't see the screen right now, I'm trying to fix this screen. What's going on here? How do I get to it? It's been a day, I tell you, but I'm gonna tell you guys something what I've learned throughout all of this, and that I'm sticking with it because you don't have to tell me twice. It's like, good luck with that. But no bueno. Okay, I can't find it, so it doesn't even matter. Okay, I'm back. I'm back. I'm back. So, like I said, I hope everybody's having a good night. Just came off to hang, dropped some jewels off, and just be a human over here, and just as it says, you know, the title resonates with me because it's things in life that we should be able to see and make conscious choices if it's good for us or not. And I feel like if you're willing to hurt somebody, then you don't really care for them too much. You know what I'm saying? It's in anything. It doesn't matter if it's a friendship or what it is. But you should pay attention to people's actions, their words too, their actions, all that. Be very mindful and just accept that they're showing you how they feel. And then you basically don't need to really be trying to figure anything out, a friendship or whatever the situation may be. You know, I know for me, I've since 2019, I've been doing my thing. I'm a mother. I was still doing my podcast stuff when I was teaching, but I did it because I loved it. I found the time for it, but it was time consuming, and it didn't. And for me, I see it like this. You have people talk, do a lot of talking, but they don't really think, critical thinking. It's like, which one is it? But it's always this thing about, well, men ain't doing this, women are doing this, and it's like, I have goals and aspirations. I just don't talk about it. You know what I mean? You can talk to you blue in the face, but if you ain't pushed or implemented, or then I mean, talk about it too. I mean, come on, you ain't got nothing. Be about it or not. That's the fire we need to start having in us that we haven't, and purposefully. And you got to start horning in and owning that stuff and stuff, sitting there waiting for somebody to feel sorry about it and own your shit because it's very capable. You can do it, but it's all up to you. You know what I mean? Your mindset will get you real messed up. So I bust my butt. I work so hard and I'm proud of it. I could be doing so much worse. I'm not running the streets or anything like that. I always am doing something. That's just me. I've been like that all my life. I'm read. I'm doing something creative. That's just what I do, and it'll never change. You can like it or love it, but I tell you this much: you gotta be a fool not to love it. Because I tell you this much: you ain't got to worry about me. What club she at tonight? Where's she? Blah blah blah. No, because I do what I do. And I am trying and I am, and it requires a lot. I got a lot on my plate, more than you can even imagine, but that's comes with the territory. I wouldn't have it any other way. And if it's not respected and looked at in the light that I see it and that I've worked for very hard consistently, then it tells me that you don't really care about what I do or respect it. How else is a person going to look at it? So what I'm saying to is from both the from a supporter to the supported, you know what I mean? It's a two-way street, and I mean, it's a lot of work. But the thing is, it has to be done because if I don't do it, then what am I what this is the thing. I'm going to say something. I know this probably can register with some people, especially real, podcasters and stuff that know the hustle and that knows that's just a lot of work. And that's why people say you got to love what you do. Nobody's just doing it to be doing it, because they can find so many other things that actually, you know what I mean? This is more than just to a lot of people like a hobby, but it starts there. It's a passion for it. It's a love. It's a, you really, this is your thing. You know what I'm saying? Like, how people have things that are really passionate about, and that's their thing, what they're into. We have these things. They don't coddle that or condition it or teach it to us at all whatsoever. Some people don't really even understand when you even talk about it, you know? Like, say, for instance, I'm gonna give you an example, which is pretty, I don't know if cliche is the word for it, but it's really simple. It's kind of like you see something within some, like you can see the missing, the disconnect. Um, like when you're into something and you're good at it and you like it and you've started something with it and you're like, yeah, that's what I do. And it's either going to say this or the other. They're going to say, where do you find the time to do that? And I'm just like, in my head, I'm like, I don't know if it's the same way you find time to do nothing. I don't know. Tell me. Or they'll say, well, do you get money from it? You see? And boom, that shows me, and again shows very very evident that we are not conditioned to follow our I love Alan Watts. If you know who Alan Watts is, go check him out. He might give you a different perspective if you can receive it. Some people don't receive, they just walk around look like one of those the eyes just be like, oh yeah. And it's like, why is that they don't get it? They don't get that somebody has a passion and put efforts into something. It must be for income. See how indoctrinated to the slave of the dollar that we are. Those are facts. Like, first of all, that's the question for my desire of what I do. Is like, you don't understand where you get money from it, and everybody think about that. But the sad part is that a lot of people growing up, and even now, I have a few friends, give an example. My one friend, she always wanted to be a producer, be in the entertainment world, but her family wanted her to do something else. They said that's not realistic. You won't get anything from that. That's not a blah blah blah. They didn't take what people are now are talking about is actually letting people grow into, who they and I'm not talking about this doctorship. I'm talking about as far as creativity and knowing what you like and what makes you tick in our passions, the things that we go out and say they're beautiful. Oh, look who made that, who made that, but yet you got one sitting right in your home and you're not even letting it flourish. See the craziness in that? If you don't massage that part in your child as they grow up, how they're supposed to have it. And then when you go into the schools these days, they damn sure aren't, trying to use it because, you know, they got something else planned for you to do. Not to do what you want to do, what you love, and what you're good at. Do they want you to do. What's acceptable in society. It's got to make you money. It's got to be part of that shit you slaving away for. It's never about in here and being who you truly, your full potential. That's not your full potential if you're only thinking from a place of this indoctrinated world in this system. It's not your full potential. That's not even the half. That was a manipulated. And the work is there. The history is there. I can't understand why anybody wouldn't even want to read that. It's like, dude, what are you interested in? What interests you? Because I tell you what interests me is this bullshit and the crap, you know, that that you even find out more and more as you get older. It's still like dimes trying dropped everywhere. You're like, well, this about something. Y'all ain't shit. You know what I mean? But at the same time, still willing to you want to know more. How do you teach your children if you don't seek more, require more? Like there's so many things that we should know that we technically we don't because of was was designed that way. I mean, denial is not a river, but once you know that, what do you do with it? And so for me, I find that to be a little silly when people don't even care to know. And it's like that's exactly what you're supposed to do. You're doing exactly what they want you to not care. Doing a great bang up job. You know what I mean? But there's so much shit that we know that I'm learning more and more. And, it's amazing. And I'm talking about shit that you'd be like, well, the audacity, you'd be offended. And then you realize why you get to almost be controlled to the point where people are telling you what to do with yourself. People have lost their damn minds. But the thing is, you can't do anything without consent. And we called it, what? Due diligence, being a good citizen. It's like, I don't know. I always used to say people are a disappointment, right? I still kind of rock with that because that's not saying it's good or bad. I'm just making a statement for myself. And anybody that feels like they would need to make it to respond to that sounds a little funny because either way it goes, it's still going to be the same thought disappointment. And if you have disappointment, then you probably should be the last one even saying anything because it is what it is. People are disappointment. And the part where that needs to be fixed is let them be disappointments all they want to be. The part that needs to be fixed is us that put too much on a person and require too much of them. And they're human beings too. And then we set ourselves up for failure because we put too much in a human being that is not perfect and you can't call it, but what you can do is just make sure that you are strong enough and built in a way that if it ever did fall apart, that you can handle it. And that's what's important. Because you can't just sit there and wait for the left, you know, it's you have to live. And if something ain't right, accept it. Don't say God thank you for why it happened, but I don't know. I don't know. All I know is that I've been in had this weirdness when it comes to this, and me knowing what I've been working on and trying to do, and it's always been about me getting getting to where I need to be. If I want something, I go after it. I don't just talk about it. We start making things happen. You talk or you can walk. Because talk, people just eventually gonna be like, yeah, he still ain't. And those facts. But who's going to do it? It's going to be me, and it requires a lot. And people don't understand it. The very people that think they do, they have never even done it. So therefore, I know what it takes because this is something that I do, but I love it. But it requires a lot of my time and then some. You know what I mean? And the respect is just not there from some people. They know who they are. It's not there. It's a game, it's a hobby, and I got your hobby. You're welcome. And I know a lot of like broadcasters, not well, podcasters and stuff like that. I don't think they'll really have, has that whole non-support thing. But I know a lot of broadcasters. I mean, George C. Romero was the first person I had this talk with about finding like-minded people, which is because we're in the same setting. Don't mean we're like-minded. People that get it. You know what I'm saying? And know the whys and the hows and the whos and all that stuff. And if you want something and you want it to work and function well, your efforts will show. What you put into something, that is on you. What it looks like, ask yourself before you go run. You got to have some kind of a humility to yourself to be like, I ain't about to show it. Some shit is just not seasoned and ready enough. Be ready, stay ready, or take it off the menu because if somebody brings it up, you don't even, you scrambling and try to make sense of it. I mean, not saying because I went to business school or anything. I know this. I learned this through experience. You know, so work with what you got and make it work. Make it make sense. So I bust my butt, and as being a mom of a child of a teenager, that's what I'm supposed to be doing is you know raising my child, being someone that if you want something you actually put in the footwork or you don't, it doesn't matter, whatever works for you, but not one that sits there and just complains or just talks about it. So therefore I feel as if I'm doing quite all right because I'm doing something that I love, doing something that is is growing, has grow I started from a place and I can actually see it's been an amazing journey, experiences, things I've gotten to do, be a part of, uh, that builds connections and that it gives you experience. And those are the things that, I've appreciated along the way. You know what I mean? Actual things that mean something, you know, that you probably would have never gotten to do if you didn't, follow your dream, follow your passions, what you're passionate about, what do you love, and then go with it. Don't let nobody tell you you can't do it. Don't let them care if grandpa, mom, anything say, oh, you shouldn't do that. How dare they? Just because they didn't get that part of their, creativity stroked and said that, yeah, why not? You should do that if you love it. But to just completely say, that's what you're going to do, you need to do this, that. To me, that's some bull stuff. You're telling me that that's what life is about, not about happiness or anything? You really telling me that? That makes no sense at all whatsoever. But some people are so indoctrinated and some people are set in their ways that they spent their whole lives slaving away just to like be like, now I can take. No. What did you gain? What was those happy moments? Because that builds character and it builds that part of you, that wholeness. And if you don't get there, I've seen it. I know you have unhappiness to you. I know. I see it. I see it in some people that I know that, like, you can just tell it's something that you've been unhappy about for years or mad about. These are older people, you know. But hey, I don't know. Uh, call me. I can see I very much am empath, but also I pay attention to stuff. I don't things don't just roll off of me like There's reasons, there's things, there's people have experienced certain things in life that shape to who they are. If it's negative or not, it's something. You pay close enough attention, You can pretty much put the pieces together. People are too predictable. Look at the government. That's what they've done to us. So I mean, there's my evidence right there. Look at us. Even though it was an unfair fight, but what are you gonna do about it now? You see, I always been intrigued by Malcolm X and anybody that was willing to not be walked over and drug around and told what to do, and knew that a human being should stand up for themselves in times, certain times. And when you do nothing, doesn't that reflect on you as a character and your person? Because if you tell you, don't give tribute to the ones before, and then you don't even do anything, you just gave up. Man, if people thought like that before us, we'd be screwed because somebody cared enough to make a move, a change. And that's what it's about. It's not about coming through here and living in the matrix and then dealing with the economy. That's a psycho's world. That'll drive me freaking nuts. That's why I have to have peace. And peace you can have in any kind of world. Peace is something that's going to come from within, but from a place. And I can't rock with this, thinking that this right here is the norm. I can't rock with that because then I'd be in denial if I did. And then I'd be saying, well, I don't see the homeless people on the ground and all this, I don't that. No, I see them very clearly. And I know something ain't right because there is not being the standards of what America is supposed to do or be is failing, and then have the audacity to say it was his fault, whomever that they got there and they need to get up and get a job, sounds like a crazy person. It makes me question your job. Because how are they supposed to get there? Have some empathy. I, I don't understand people. Like, why do we keep accepting these things? It's like being in a freaking, what, abusive relationship. Say, for instance, you're telling somebody, oh, you should get out of that relationship. It's bad for you. They don't care about you. Look what they do, all that stuff. And then you could turn around and be like, that sounds familiar. Then when are you going to stand up and start putting in place something that was literally put there for you to use? It's actually our job. No one's clocked in. We are the people. So if it gave us clearly, because if I had one more person say, "Oh, it doesn't mean for us. It doesn't stand for us," well, you know what? Good luck with that, because it doesn't stand for you. Because if you had any common sense, you'd ride the hell out of that stuff. Because if you know that you are a human being, you know that you have unalienable rights, you better move on over section and amendment number, because I'm about that too. I claim it. You don't tell me if I'm worthy or not. It's a mind state. And what I'm saying is, if we don't use those things, it's like clearly sitting right there. Like, and it tells you, the people, what you're supposed to do. It's really, we're supposed to be a part of this, but they don't want us to be a part of it, so they're not going to tell us that you have more power in it. For goodness sakes, if you have children, you go to school, how come you ain't never been to a board meeting? How come you ain't asked no questions? How come you haven't put forth your part as in the community as you expect of anybody else? You must be engaged. You want to know, you better be like, look, oh, I want to be here too. You got to tell them, because they're not going to tell you. You have every right to know how they come up and be in the process. They're your children. You know what I mean? So it's kind of like accepting stuff. People treat you how you allow them to treat you. There should be no surprise. There should be accountability. Point all you want to, but what are you going to do about it? Because if they know their role and we know the real role, then that's time for us to start making better choices. And I don't take any shortcuts, and I don't cut anybody in the slack. And you know why? Because of the children. If we fail them, then what? And that's why I'm not with the silliness, the debating, the small things, and all that silly stuff because you hurt or you feel you need to uh debunk somebody's story. Like, I don't have time for that. That's unattractive to me at all kind of levels, just as being around people in general. Like, I don't have time for that when the world requires, our children require so much more. Their time is so precious, and it's just like tick, 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 tick. So to me, you're either part of the problem or the solution. But definitely don't be part of the problem, because if you are, some people just don't. I know some sick people. Yes, I said sick because I think it's sick. They like problems. My neighbors right over here, they used to fight like that. You damn near think he was ripping her freaking vocal cords out because she was screaming, right? That's what they did. And then you could tell when they made up and created life within that making up, because they're quiet for damn near a whole year, 9 months. So it's crazy to me. But that's the thing. Somebody asked me about that. Don't you like after you argue and you get all hot? No, I don't. Please don't touch me. I'm bothered. No, but it just makes no sense, like, for that to be your thing, because that can become very toxic. I've seen it. It sounds all cute and like, yeah, we get mad at each other and we want to. Nope, because people get used to that, and then that's what they do. And here you are. Trust me, I know. And the older I get, and the on a day by day basis, especially in this warped world, my mental intake of everything is evolving quite rapidly because of the situation. And so I see myself growing in ways where, look, it's either this or it's going to be that. But I know I'm weighing out, what's I'm picking my choosing my battles. What's worth me, you know, letting it affect, taking that much time up to affect me in some way. And at this point, I'm over people. I love people. As far as like, I don't harm. I wish the best for anybody, and I would help anybody. You know what I mean? When it comes to stuff like that, I have a very big, very good heart. I wish no evil on people, even when wronged, because that's just not an energy that one would. It doesn't. It's not sexy. It doesn't make you feel good, and so it's kind of like, But at the same time, still being able to receive, I still, I just don't feel the need to ever exude that energy of I don't know. People just hurt people way too much in the worst way, too. Like, it's damn near freaking. It's scary. Because to be honest, the monster, the very things that we have to be more afraid of is each other than the hugest, crazy, craziest animal or whatever it could be. The most scariest is another human being. Is that's the what? That's what's dangerous. So there's a word for it. That when we go out places, you have to carry your mace, put it in this, make sure you have that. What is that for? That's just in case another human being decides to harm you, to try to harm you. But it's that register. It's crazy. That's how much of a threat human beings are to one another. And what are you gonna do? I know what I'm gonna do. Not taking any BS. I say that much. I've come too far, and I don't want to deal with with any type of stress or letting people be able to control your feel how mess with you. I don't got time for that. That to me is unattractive. And so it's very easy for me to keep it moving. And men and whatever it is, a friendship or pursuing someone, don't ever get it twisted that a woman is, when she's good to go, she's good. Mentally checked out, 9 times out of 10, you're really not raveling that back in. You know what I mean? Because once you make her feel a way where you don't respond and it's not there, and and there's a disconnect, or you have done something to hurt her, and she checks out. She ain't really probably she's gone mentally. You lost her. So I don't know why men are running around here acting like women are just like willing to accept, just because some do, somebody, or someone, or people in their lives that aren't the best and that have hurt them. It's not everybody's get down. It's not my thing. I don't accept it, and and it just elevated right now. It's by the minute. It's survival right now. I don't have time to have any type of some. I just don't have time. Either we bring out the best in each other. People have problems. This could be within a family member, a relationship, or anything, or we just don't. It's just no bueno, no good, no good. You know, hey, I don't have trust. I'll give people my trust and benefit of the doubt, but when you've made me not trust you, then it's like, well, you keep doing suspect stuff, and just lessons to learn. But I bust my ass every day to do what I do, and to not have that consideration, and it just, I'm just never gonna, I'm good. I'm turned off, because I don't understand what people think they definition of support is. It's like, it's just because you say it doesn't mean that you're doing it. It would actually look a certain way. So it's what it is. And I'll just keep doing what I'm doing, worry about me, my son, and trying to navigate through this crazy world that's occurring, which requires a lot of attention. And if that's not where you're even looking at, then that shows me that we were never on the same page, because whoever we're around, we want to feel safe with. And if those things aren't of a concern, then it makes me wonder, what are your concerns? Like, I don't see how anybody can't be alarmed by what's going on. Because the sad part to me is when shit hits the fan and then you need to go into action, you have nothing, you didn't do anything, then that shows me that you wasn't a planner, you wasn't a thinker, and what the hell? I mean, they did everything for you, but drew it on your forehead. Like, what are we doing here? You was just at the store. You could grab those waters. I mean, you're gonna go the day of if to say everything shut off. Oh yeah, that's gonna work. You know what I mean? But that's the conditioning mind of human beings, and then you either rock with it or you change. Plain and simple. But I'm accepting, you know, however people decide. I don't have to let it affect me or stick with me. I separate it and I pray on it. And that's just how I move right now. I was on here the other day, and a fellow broadcaster of mine spoke. He was very upset, and from the sound of it, he had every rights to be. But he said that, you know, some very not great things that were, I'm pretty sure was hurtful, by this app, basically did some deceptive type of stuff. And he was voicing that. Now, if you want to hate on that, that sounds a little suspect, because why, how is it that I just don't understand people like hypocritical, or just not aware, or another agenda. I don't know. But what I'm saying is, that's another example, because I'm not surprised, because I've had not that situation, but a situation where I'm like, what the, I mean, right? And you try to it's a whole different scenario, but that whole feeling and all that stuff of somebody else, like these apps, you can't always trust them. They're trying to move everything over to be like AI and all that stuff. Well, then, hmm, what do you think is happening there? So I just feel like whatever happened on here with that young man is not a surprise because a lot of people have saved their own butts. I got my first lesson was with I think it was YouTube, and I learned real quick, fast, in a hurry what their game was and where they stood. And I haven't really, I put up our stuff, our videos and stuff like that, but anything else towards Facebook, I don't trust, I don't like, and I find it to be problematic that no one has said anything about anything because we don't want to get censored. Well, let me tell you something. If you end up in this, we don't do anything, then there goes our First Amendment. And we would have, and then if we didn't do anything, who do we blame? Because it sure can't be next to you. It can't be the government because they laid it right out in front of you. What are you gonna do? You gonna take it, or you gonna take it? You gotta stand for something. But I just wanted to come on here and share that. A little bit of the story, but also with a little bit of encouragement in there. So I don't know. Um, I just gotta press rewind, but there's so much so much awesome stuff that's coming up that I don't want anything that's gonna be of harm to the energy, and I can't believe that. You know, I don't know. I'm not gonna. Things are crossing my mind right now about just be very mindful of how people treat you and how what they do say, what they don't say, and what seems off. It might be your intuition, but pay close attention to it, friend or not. This could apply to anybody, but make sure that you pay close attention to it because then you got all you need. You, they just showed it to you. So anything else you would require anyone to say after that would be kind of silly. So pretty much, actions speak louder than words, and I just can't risk it. It's nothing to really risk. The pretty much just showed me what everybody else shows. Same shit, different day. Facts. So, but hey, it saved me some money because was able to pull something off, or been something I was gonna get to do. That would have been a great time, and now it's like, yeah. So I do get to have something out of this. I get to keep my money. you know? Mm, yeah. Anyways, again, thank you guys for listening to me blabble on, but it's appreciated. And just gotta save the, mindset and everything for what is needed because I can't drop the ball on this. I won't. And if anybody's willing to put that at risk, And that's all that needs to be said. Because I would never do that to anybody. But and that's just for anybody. Take it how you want to. I took what I took and give it to God and just keep doing what I'm doing because it'll pay off. It always does. But it will only you only will reap what you put into it. If you didn't put nothing into it, it's gonna look like the crap that it looked like because you didn't put it into it. So what I'm saying is I'm not delivering no crap. I put everything into what I do as I should because I require that from myself. If not, then I need to take several seats. If you're not even gonna put it in there, put the work in. That's how you do that shit, and that's how you give it to your kids too. You don't put that spirit in them. You don't put that. You put that confidence in them. You know, the desire, the want, and not the little tidbits of like, well, what if I'm feeling? No, that's life. But the overall, the big picture is you can do it. And at that, I'm gonna go because I'm getting a little tired, and you probably can tell. I love you guys and have a blessed evening. Hope everybody finds what makes them happy. Uh, and love, peace, respect, honesty, value, and treat each other better or leave people alone. Peace. Say the devil's a liar, but thank God, God's gonna come down here and rain on these motherfuckers. Makes no sense. Probably won't even use this anymore. That's just trash.